Welcome back to Legalese 123, where we are covering cases across America. Hello and welcome back to Legalese 123. I'm your host, Missy K. I hope everybody is doing well today. Today is the 3rd of March. Did you see the lunar eclipse last night? I didn't. I was in bed. I hope you were in bed too, unless you're on the other side of the world and maybe you saw it. Anyways, today is the 3rd of March, 2026, and today is the anniversary of Kouri Richins' death, the court case in which we are talking about. So we're going to take a small moment of silence for Eric because it is sad that although this isn't the official day, but he went to bed at 10 p.m. She woke up at 3, found that he was deceased. So some could say we don't know exactly when he died, but it is the eve of his passing. So take just a moment. All right, so that happened 4 years ago, March 3rd, 2022. And will the Richins family get justice? We are in the middle of Kouri Richins' trial, day 6. We are finishing up with the testimony of the forensic download expert, which is hired by the state. And we now are getting into cross-examination. So Mr. Kotrodemus is still on the stand. So we're going to finish that up. And I don't know if they finished up his testimony or not. We will find out. And then we will get into today's trial. So it's a combination of day 6 and day 7. So let us begin. Again, Richins' family, so sorry for your loss. Sorry to meet under these circumstances.
All right. Mr. Kouri, how are you?
I'm doing great. Mr. Ramos, how are you?
Good seeing you again.
Good to see you.
You know what? Let's just dive right into the GIFs, the PNG files.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sure.
Can we pull up those that exhibit? And just for the witness judge. So I have this document here. It's been marked as State's Exhibit 340. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you were testifying earlier, you informed the jury that it was all the image files that you received, correct?
Well, just for this representation is just for that, for the 4th.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So what we're looking at are
It's part of that. Yes.
images, data files for that day. Specifically, I think there was a range. It was for the March 4th, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, in that, there were 39 images, right?
Correct.
Now, of those images, obviously, we've seen 3 of them. Okay.
Yes.
So I want to focus on those. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up those 3 images that you've seen.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to show you the MAC, right?
Okay.
Which is the modified access created. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Pull that out for him. Now, could you see those on the left-hand side there?
I do, yes.
Okay. 1 second. That's what he can see, right? Okay. Sorry, I have a smaller screen here, so I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. On the left-hand side, can you tell me, or tell the jury, if all of these images were accessed on the same date and time?
Yes.
Down to the second?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that these are .png files. Okay.
Yes.
Now, if we look to the right, there is what appears to not be a GIF, I guess, or it is a thumbnail, but it is of a, how would you describe it? What's the picture? What's that picture of?
I don't know, which one are we looking at?
The one on the right-hand side, it looks like a house almost in the distance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a photo of a piece of property, it looks like. Yes.
Are you familiar with that property?
I can't tell what it is from the photo.
Fair enough. Now, can you just look at the time and date?
Yes.
Okay. Does that match the .png files that we saw?
It does.
Okay.
Yes.
To the second?
It does.
Okay.
Yes.
So just practically speaking, okay, we need to take that down. Do you find that odd?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's walk through it.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk through an example.
Explain.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
And then I want you to explain it to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Now, in fact, let's do this.
Don't find it odd.
So if I pull up my phone right now, I just unlocked it.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to send a text message, okay,
Okay.
to my son.
All right.
Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a thumbnail,
A photo. Yeah.
photo,
Uh-huh.
okay, and I'll do a GIF, okay.
Okay.
And so I'm looking for one. I found one, so I just clicked on that.
Okay.
Okay. Now I just clicked on another one,
Okay.
and I just clicked on another one.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to add also a picture, okay, just for my folder.
Okay.
Okay. Now I've selected those 4 items, okay,
Mhm.
and I'm about to send it.
Yes.
Okay. So if you were to get my phone and put it in your system, extract it, and you analyze it, obviously it would be a text message,
It would. Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Now, the modified access created, would all of those be the same date, time, down to the second?
They could be.
Could be.
Yes.
There's a lot of reasons for that,
Yes.
okay? For example, the type of iOS I have,
That could affect it. Yes.
the type of extraction that's done,
I don't know if the extraction type would determine that or not.
logical versus physical.
I still don't think in the way these images were in the database.
Okay.
I don't think that would be. I don't think that would be accurate.
So then let's look at the database.
Okay.
Where exactly were these images?
So they were in the database. There's a pathway in there.
Yeah, let's pull that
Yeah.
up.
So that's where they're at.
Okay.
Okay. So they are in an SMS photo database essentially. All right.
So is it up there now for you?
It is not. Not yet.
Okay. Now, the source file, is that what we're referring to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So I see here it has a bunch of numbers, underscore files, full.zip, right?
Yeah.
Private var, mobile, library, cache,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Talk to me about cache.
All right. So caches or folders. They're just places where the system stores data.
Okay. And if I were to go to my phone right now, I could find those .png files, that image I just sent, right? If I go directly to my text message, correct?
You could. Yes. Yeah.
Right, because I just sent it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, here in this file, this doesn't lead you straight to a text message.
Correct.
Okay. And so it is, and I think what you said in your direct, I think it was the system, I think is the word, you were very specific. The system in her phone, I logged it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are databases.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So fair to say, and you indicated in your testimony early, so I think I'm right, that there are certain things in our phones that are there, but we can't necessarily access them.
Correct.
We need a process to go kind of below the surface.
Right.
Okay. Now, in this case, these .pngs, you had 39 of them, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you only selected 3.
Yes.
Okay. Did you select those? I shouldn't put.
I provided what I provided.
Yeah.
I provided the entire extraction report, and then I provided the part of the extraction report for that day.
Okay. So
Yes.
you provided the full 39.
Yes.
Okay. Understood. Now, I want to go back to that other image. Okay.
Okay.
Now, these have the exact same date, the exact same time, down to the second. Okay. Are they tied together?
I don't know that.
You don't.
No.
In fact, it's impossible to know.
It really is.
Now, in what you do, there is, we heard the word a lot, analysis, right? You analyze, right? Okay. Now, we know that you can, we get the information from Great Key, it's extracted, then we put it in Celebrite. The analysis comes in reviewing the report, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, and you're also very careful in your direct testimony that it's not necessarily, I don't think you use these words, but it's not infallible, right? This Celebrite report.
Correct.
Okay. In fact, Celebrite itself recommends its operators, is that the word?
Yes.
To make sure that they validate their data,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And there's a lot of reasons for that.
Yes.
For example, you do have a hardware that you use, correct?
Yes.
You want to validate it's working.
Correct.
And then also the software that you use, you want to validate that that's working.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this might be an oversimplification. But I'm trying to process it. Okay. A lot of money went into making those phones.
Yes.
A lot of the data and how it works is all of it's proprietary. Correct.
Yes.
Now, in a way, Celebrite is trying to hack the phone to get the information.
Doesn't really hack it, but it parses the data.
It parses the data.
Yeah.
Okay. And when it spits out, that's not a common term. When the report gives you this information, you can't take it as God's truth.
There's context to a lot of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I can take it as God's truth, quote unquote,
Yeah.
that is how the system files within the are constructed.
You can take it that that's how Celebrite put the data or extracted the data.
Correct.
Now, you've heard, I suspect, of the epoch time.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you could explain to the jury epoch time in terms of digital forensics.
I cannot.
Cannot?
No.
Why not?
I don't have enough familiarization with it. I just don't.
Okay.
Not on the stand.
All right. Well, is it fair to say that let's look at this created and modified and accessed, that date and time?
Okay.
Are you aware that that time isn't actually how it's stored on the phones?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Sure. So the epoch time, if you're not familiar with it, it's the number of seconds that has elapsed since January 1st, 1970. Are you familiar with that?
I am.
Oh, sorry.
For a minute. What was the objection?
He said he couldn't testify about what epoch time is.
So
So
foundation.
foundation.
I think you're laying foundation.
I am,
right?
Judge.
Let's see where this goes. Overruled.
So-
I interrupted you, gentlemen. If you would ask that question.
Absolutely, Judge. So the epoch time, and I'm just going to, I'll explain it how I know it, and if it refreshes your recollection, great. If not, we'll move on.
Okay.
Okay. So epoch time is the number of seconds that has elapsed
Mhm.
since January 1st, 1970. Okay.
Yes.
Don't know why they did it this way, but that is how the phones have registered the information. Were you aware of that?
Yes, and I don't know the technical aspects of it, but it's a programming reason.
Correct. and because we're not going to do the math together,
No, we're not.
we rely, or in this case, you were relying on Celebrite to do that.
Correct.
Correct. Now, you also, a way to validate your data, because things even as little as time, you also have the ability to cross-reference the data that you have in your phone, in the Celebrite report, excuse me, okay, the extraction, with other information, correct?
Correct.
So for example, the call logs, the text messages that you sent out, right, that's presented in the extraction,
Yes.
you could then compare it to the call detail records,
Correct.
right? And you could say, oh yeah, you know what, this matches up.
Yes.
Okay. And you do that in a way to make sure that the information you're getting is correct.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we look at this 4 images, the 3, I'm going to call them the what's been admitted as the 3 PNGs, okay, which we all saw, or just scum GIFs, even though I know they're not right now,
Right.
but just so everybody's aware.
Okay.
And then we have this photo that appears to be of a home, okay? Right. Now, you have records and you have call logs for March 4th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you can see who all communicated that day.
Correct.
Correct. And you can also get that through call detail records, correct?
Not always.
The call detail records you indicated mark the time that a call was sent out and a text was sent out.
If it hits the carrier. So if it's a Wi-Fi call or if it's like iMessage, like iPhone to iPhone, iMessaging,
Okay.
it can route around it and it won't hit the call detail record.
Perfect. So you had on March 4th at least some information in what you received from the extraction report that some calls were made, some text messages were sent from Ms. Richins' phone.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with that information, you can, if you wanted to, you can attempt to see whether this image was sent or received by somebody, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You did not do that.
I did do that.
Okay. And who did it come back to?
I don't know. It was not available in the system file.
Okay.
Would you like kind of explain why?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Why I think based on
Yeah.
There is from the time this event occurred on March 4th till the time the phone was seized on April 13th,
Mhm.
I believe, 2022. There's an extended period of time that has passed in data terms. Okay. So the reason why going back to the source on this is challenging is if the text source of this, incoming or outgoing, is missing,
Mhm.
you can sometimes go into the data file, like from the timeline and from the extraction, you can go into the database information. You can go in there and you can look at that to see if that information is contained in the database still. The problem is that data is overwritten. Once it's deleted, the database then overwrites it. So then what happens is the source in there goes away. There's small amounts of data that are in there.
Like traces.
Well, like PNGs,
Yeah.
okay, that are still there. But like I kind of explained with the data space, think of it as a,
Oh, 1 second. Is that like a garbage collection?
yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about that, right? So yeah, so deletion. So think of that as, think of that deletion file as like the trash can in your house, like in your kitchen, okay? So you delete things, you throw things into that. Well, eventually it gets full and you got to take it out to the curb and the garbage man comes and gets it, it's gone,
Right.
okay? So The more you use it, the more you have to take it out.
So
Okay.
let me stop you there.
Yes.
Because what I'm asking about is, I understand that you tried.
I'm getting there. I
Oh
promise.
no. Real,
Okay.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So those databases store that information for a while. Okay. Then what happens is that text information, that the text threads, they're stored in a different place than these.
Mhm.
What happens is every, I don't know, 30-ish days, don't hold me to that, but it's roughly, this iOS system performs a vacuum. And what it does is it takes deleted information that's in there that it no longer thinks it needs for the system files, and it vacuums it out, and it basically takes it out to the curb, and then it goes away. So to answer your question, I did attempt to look for the source for this, but there's none of that data remains in the device or in the databases at all. All I have is these, what I referred to previously as orphaned images.
Or ghost.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, and I understand that.
Okay, if you have these orphaned images, then how can you say 100% that this is where it came from? Mr. Ramos?
My question is, there are other things you can do outside of that. Obviously, that's your first one, right? You
Right.
try to go straight to the source. For whatever reason, it's not there.
Okay.
But there are other things you can do to see if you can locate whether they're tied together or where they could have gone. Correct?
Correct.
So you indicated that at a minimum, this is on the mobile messaging system, right?
Yes.
It says mobile SMS, correct?
Yes.
So you know that at one point it was sent or received to somebody from Miss Richins' phone.
Yes.
Okay, so you have contacts in her phone, correct?
I do.
And if you had call detail records, for example, or just in her log, or any number of things, right?
Right.
You can go to those and see if the individual on the other end maybe did still have that message, correct?
Potentially. I mean,
Yeah, potentially. Now you didn't do that in this case.
Are we talking physically contacting these individuals? And
Absolutely.
okay, yeah. So I agree with that statement.
That you didn't do it.
That I didn't do it.
Okay.
But I would also add to that my role in this case is as an analyst, and I provide the information, and then any following, any update or follow-up investigation is
100%. Yeah, I mean, I imagine that when you were asked to pull those images on that day, I imagine you explained all of this to the prosecution,
I did, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you explained to them that, hey, you know what? These did pop up.
Yep.
39 of these.
And to your point and your question, I did go through call detail records. I did go through those types of things to see if there was a corresponding communication that would be contained in the call detail records that matches this.
Absolutely. And you did this because that is your job.
Correct.
Right? You're trying to say, hey, I have this orphan ghost.png. I'm going to try to find its home.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And hey, prosecution, I know you're going to use this just so you know, I can't tell you who received it. Correct?
Correct.
I can't tell you who sent it.
Correct.
I can't tell you if it was viewed by Ms. Richins.
Correct. Correct.
But I can tell you that at that time and date, the system in her phone, as you said, registered it.
Correct.
Now, for example, if we were to find out that the image there, right, of the home,
Mhm.
okay, if we were to find that other recipient, right,
Okay.
and in that recipient's cell phone, it had the date prior, okay, so March 3rd,
Okay.
say around 5 o'clock, okay, and that individual sent the image, okay,
Okay.
and then Miss Richins opened her text message with that home there, okay, and maybe those GIFs or those .png, those thumbnails were attached.
Mhm.
It could have been that the computer registered as it accessed it as it was opening up, correct?
Correct. Because it would
Okay.
create a thumbnail.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, like you said, we don't know that, right?
Correct. We don't.
Okay. Now, I'd like to move on to the web searches.
Okay. Yes.
A lot of those web searches, as we saw, have no dates,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And we do see
That is what I asked. That's what I asked yesterday. What are the dates on those?
some of them when they were searched, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with, I think it's called like lifestyle analysis?
No.
Okay. Did you perform any searches around the time on those that you can see on the web searches that you can see the date that they were searched? Okay. Did you do any searches on Google or any validation to see what, if anything, was relevant to what was being pulled up?
No, like, did I perform the searches myself? And
Not the searches. So, for example, are you familiar with a certain Real Housewife in Salt Lake City
recently?
in
Yes.
April 2022?
Oh, no.
Okay. Are you aware of somebody maybe being sentenced around that time?
No.
Okay. And now that would provide context to you, correct?
I could.
Because right now, just as we see the searches, we don't know why that would be a search, correct?
I don't know
Yep.
content or Can't speculate on anything.
You can't speculate.
No.
You shouldn't speculate.
No.
You also can't tell me with the information that you have who actually did the search,
Correct.
right? It was done on the phone.
It was done on the device.
You could tell us the location of the phone possibly when those searches were done.
Correct.
You could tell us possibly the Wi-Fi that it was connected to if it was connected to one.
Correct.
Okay. But you can't tell us who searched it.
Right. So it goes back to what other trials have we talked about people searching for things, right? So let's go back. We're going to go back to Brian Walsh, right? He did a lot of Google searches. Well, he was the only adult in the house. The children obviously aren't searching for things, and Anna is missing, right? So who's the one that did it? Let's talk about Brendan Banfield and Brendan Banfield, Christina Banfield, and Juliana Magalhaes, right? That was a big bone of contention in their trial as to who was searching and doing what, who was looking at the FetLife messages, etc. And what they did with that was they said, okay, here's the Google locations of these people at these dates and these times. Who's in the house accessing that Wi-Fi? Who isn't? And every time that the FetLife and the Gmail and the Telegram were utilized, either Brendan was home with Christine or Juliana was home with Christine. Ergo, what have you. Now, with here, if you can't even tell me what date these were done, we can't even go back to see who was home, etc. But he's not saying all of them. There are a couple of them that they have a date.
Correct. Now, you can't tell us if we were at, if this happened on the 4th, let's go back to the GIF images, okay? On that day, at that time, are you aware, were you told that there were other people in that home?
I'm aware of that.
You are aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, and so did you reach out to those, or I guess that's not your job. You could not tell us who opened that phone at that time, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, I do want to talk to you about something you just brought up. It was you said, the Wi-Fi. You said not necessarily because it could be an iMessage, right?
Correct.
Was one option, and then the other one was that it was connected or sent through Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the file path on here indicates that it is a mobile SMS, which went through iMessage, and
Right.
iMessage iPhone to iPhone typically will not hit a carrier, so it won't be in a call detail.
Right. But that also is helpful to you, right? Because you're able to see of all the people that she could have possibly contacted that day, you could then narrow it to like who has an iPhone.
Correct.
Okay. And so because of the communication, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm guessing here, between iPhone and iPhone, it's a different connection, correct? It makes it easier to communicate?
It's a typical Wi-Fi connection, so it's not a different connection.
Okay.
It's just a different system, or it's the same. They're on the same system. It goes through Apple servers versus the carrier.
So for example, can we pull up the Mr. Richins mobile activity on the night of March 3rd? Do you recall that state's exhibit where you laid out a graph of all the text messages that were sent from Mr. Richins to a Pedro Sonora?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I think it's up on your screen now.
Yes.
Okay. When we were talking about this, one of the last questions was about the text from Raul at 10:18.
Okay.
And I believe Ms. Shervanack asked if it had been read, or if you could tell if it had been read, and you answered it very curiously, which is I'm left to wonder. I just want clarification whether or not you could actually tell if it was read, or whether there just wasn't enough data to determine whether it had been read.
I didn't see any. I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just don't remember the.
No, and that's why I'm following up.
Yeah.
That's why I'm following up.
There's no response. The indication was that it was not read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, here we see all these text messages, correct?
Yes.
And we just talked about the iMessage that you just discussed. That
Yes.
sometimes that won't register on call detail records, for example, right?
Correct.
Now that's different than this, right?
That is different than this.
Okay. You would expect an iMessage to show up here?
Yes, because it's from the phone's timeline itself.
Correct.
These are system file.
Correct. Just want to make sure. Can we take that one down, please? Thank you. Okay. So the movement of the iPhone. Let's start with Eric's.
Okay.
You had indicated that you had done how did you phrase it? You had actually compared it. It said you had done some sort of analysis with his overall use in terms of his activity on his watch, right?
Yes.
And that those 87 minutes, that gap
Mhm.
was off, I guess.
I don't think I said it was off.
What were your
I think I
words?
said it was atypical.
Atypical.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you please walk us through what exactly you did to get to that conclusion?
Oh, so those are spot checks. Those are looking at random locations within his activity. I did not take the totality of his activity and compare it day to day to one another. Those were spot checks and looking at the device patterns in his phone to see if there was large types of movement. Now there are sometimes large spaces of inactivity,
Mhm.
but not in this context.
So what spot checks did you do?
Just periodically throughout the timeline, through that activity timeline, just to look at and see if his activity indicates that his device stays in motion, and to what extent day to day.
Over how many days?
Oh God, I probably looked at maybe 20 days or so, just random days.
And how did you log that?
I didn't report it. I just made a mental note of it.
Just a mental notice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what was the largest deviation?
I don't know that, sir.
What was the smallest deviation?
I don't know.
How did you come up to the fact that it was atypical?
Well, like I said, in context, right? So there's communications about with presumably Ms. Richins on the device, and
Wait,
there is
Mr. Richins.
I'm sorry, Mr. Richins on the device with Ms. Richins, right? And so there was
So right now, just so you're clear, we're talking about the physical activity.
oh yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, physical activity.
Yeah.
But in conjunction with that, there are text messages, there are other things going on around this time, indicating in the other exhibits. I don't know if we published them, but there's some discussion about what Mr. Richins was doing that day around
Sure. So like this
11
one,
a.m.
so this one specifically, on February 14th, 2022,
Yes,
you indicated that the gap was atypical.
yes, and maybe I didn't put that in good context.
Sure, put it in
But
context
in
now.
context with what was going on at the time, it is not typical, based on what I looked at, for Mr. Richins to like lay down and take a nap, for instance, in the middle of the day.
So you could tell that he took a nap from this?
I cannot, but he indicated he was going to in the text. That's what I'm talking about in context.
Okay, so there's a bit of confirmation bias there. You would agree.
I would agree with that. And there's probably a little speculation there on that. The thing with
But
device activity is you only know if the device is moving or not.
Right. There is a bit of speculation, like you said, and we shouldn't do that.
Probably not.
Let's talk about. You can take that down. Let's talk about the.
Do not
activity sensor data.
speculate.
Okay. Not in context of what was registered,
Okay.
but in the context of you as an analyst. Okay.
Okay.
Now, we talked about how what you do is digital forensics,
Yes.
and that's considered a forensic science.
Okay. Yes.
Do you disagree with that?
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay. And part of that field, right, is what we, I guess, grew up knowing as the scientific method, right?
Yes.
And so, for example, here we identify a phone, an electronic device, okay? And then we go from identifying that to preserving it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we either put it in a Faraday bag or we plug it in and we make sure that the hash values and the hex code and everything matches.
Correct.
And we do that so that when you get the information, you know that it's the cleanest version possible, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then once we preserve it, we then collect the information, which would be the extraction,
Yes.
right? And then we examine it, okay?
Yes.
And then we get into the analysis,
Yes.
okay? So we examined it, and I'm going to go off of the activity sensors, okay? Activity monitors.
Yeah.
So we identified it, we collected it, we examined it. Now let's talk about the analysis of it. Okay. Tell us what you did to validate the information about the activity sensor data. And we'll start specifically with the distance traveled. And this could be for either Mr. Richins or Ms. Richins' phone, okay?
In general.
Yeah, what did you do in this case for either Mr. Richins or Ms. Richins,
Mhm.
okay, to validate the information that was presented to you in Celebrite regarding traveled?
Okay, so if you know anything about the Karen Reed case, right? One of the things that was elicited by, I would call it if you want to say the biometrics or the movement of the phone, they stated that John took, I don't know, 3 flights of stairs, right? but nobody could say for sure where that was taken. Did he actually go up and down stairs? Like, what was that data? And it was a hot topic. And so when we talk about the biometrics of where somebody's going or the phone traveled XYZ, it's also in the Murdoch case as well, when they were talking about Maggie's phone and it traveling, et cetera, or being moved, et cetera. So this is another grain of salt sort of gray area that I'm interested to hearing what each expert has to say.
Distance travel.
So the distance traveled is just reported by the device based on the sensors that are contained within the device.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then what did you do to validate that information was correct?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay.
I did nothing to validate that information, like outside of that.
Okay,
Right.
so for example, that information that was there, it indicates, let's pull up Ms. Richins if we wouldn't mind, the state's exhibit where it shows, yeah, this one right here.
Okay.
Okay. So can we publish this one, Judge? It's been admitted. So let's look at that 3:08:10 a.m.
Right.
Okay. Now, the
Level
74.14
243.
meters, that comes straight from the extraction report, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the 243 feet, I imagine that's something that you converted?
Yes.
Okay. And using what?
Just a Google conversion.
Google conversion.
Yeah.
Okay. And in this device travels, we know that it was 74.14 meters that was registered on the device.
Correct.
Okay. Now, what kind of iPhone was this?
I believe it was an iPhone 12.
Okay. And do you recall what iOS system it had?
I do not.
Okay. Now, did you, for example, going back to, so I can explain myself, did you grab your phone, a phone, and measure the distance from point X to point Y, put the phone in your pocket, walk over there, knowing the distance, walk back, plug in the phone, and see whether the Celebrite data that you received for what you just did in that controlled environment matched what was being produced?
Okay. So before he answers that, this also came up in the Karen Reed trial as well. As not necessarily, well, yes. Ian Whiffen, who is a Celebrite expert, did some phone analysis on John. So John's phone was found underneath him, and the phone registered a certain temperature. And they tried to recreate that, putting it in the freezer and stuff. Also, a couple of other people tried to do the same, the house long to die Google search. They did it at the same time, same phone, same iOS system, and they did it. And the thing was, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they were unable to recreate that. The search at this, opening the same tab at 6:00 in the morning and getting the same results that was extracted from Jen McCabe's phone. And then they said, oh, well, Celebrite has an error. And so we just corrected that error. So what I guess I'm trying to say is, and I don't know if Mr. Ramos is going to get into this or not. I mean, totally moving forward, the Karen Reed case has done a lot for things moving forward as far as trials, especially Celebrite. The fact that they had to change the software, some people say to change it to the narrative that they were looking for, or that there was a glitch and that they fixed it. Either way, it says to you that the Apple phones are proprietary information. They're not going to give you the secret sauce of exactly how to extract that phone. So Celebrite is a separate company that comes in and says, okay, first you download it on the Gray Key to preserve the data, then you put it into the Celebrite, and we're going to give you what we think that the phone extraction is. Nothing is ever perfect, right? There's no perfect in anything. And so moving forward, all of these trials, all of these things are going to continue to bring up the imperfections that Celebrite has, imperfections that the person who is analyzing this data has, etc. So it's very interesting to me to see what flaws they can decipher from the information provided. So, and in the Karen Reed case, I want to say, I don't know. I don't know if it was Jessica Hyde. Somebody, I'm mistaken, but somebody did something like this, and they didn't allow it in the courtroom because it wasn't like a 1-to-1 match. Like it didn't perfectly match up, so they couldn't say what they did. Like it wasn't scientific. Or like like in the Murdoch case where like they're just throwing the phone across the across the room and something happened, like is that a scientific method of recreating the same thing? It just like the bizarro world of forensics.
No.
Okay, let's go
Chief
back.
over there.
He
No
did not.
right data that you received for.
No.
Okay.
So he did
Did you-
not. He did not go to the scene and recreate the footsteps.
Purchase or have access to the iPhone make and model.
But we do know that in the Matterport, they did. There's many. When Detective Gibson was on the phone, I don't know if she's Officer Gibson, whatever, not on the phone. When she was on the stand, she talked about the Matterport and the Matterport giving the distances. I don't know if that's going to come back up or not. Something tells me it is. So.
In Ms. Richins.
No.
On either of her phones that she had.
No.
Did you have access to Mr. Richins' iPhone maker model?
No.
Okay. And you did not do any tests, correct?
Correct.
So these numbers right here that we're seeing, you are speculating that is correct.
I'm not speculating. I'm relying on the data being correct inside the device.
But you have no way of knowing that.
Well,
No way of corroborating that.
The examples you're giving are not 100%. Wouldn't 100% verify this anyway. I don't think. I think you would have to use the exact device under the exact conditions.
Yeah.
And in any way for one.
Yeah. So let's go with that. So
And two, and
Sure.
which I didn't do.
and-
Which I didn't do.
real quick, go on. So let's be clear. We understand you didn't do it. You did have access or could gain access to the environment, correct?
I could.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So then let's go from there. There are body cams in this case. Were you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been to the Richins home?
No.
Okay. Have you seen those body cams?
I've seen some images of the body cams. Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen videos of the body cams?
Very few.
Okay. Do you recall a video where one of Miss Richins' phones is handed from one of the EMS to an officer, and then the officer walks over all the way to where Miss Richins is to provide her the phone?
No.
Okay. Had you been aware of that, or had that, rather, I'll be fair to you, had that been told to you by the prosecutors or law enforcement? Having that controlled environment, having this data, having access to the same phone, downloading the same iOS, could you have run a test to see if it was similar? And specifically referring to the 41 meters that's indicated there.
I could.
Okay.
But I mean, your statement just actually opened up why there's a tense movement later on.
It tends to, questions sometimes tend to do that. Okay, so now let's talk about even the phone unlock lock. Okay, that seems pretty intuitive.
Yeah, the locking.
The locking and unlocking.
Yes.
So, for example, when we look at the 319, I'm sorry, can we go back to the other one? I don't know if it was me. Thank you. At 319.39 at the bottom, phone unlocked 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So it was unlocked 3 seconds. Does that mean it was locked at 3 seconds?
Yes.
Okay. And then, to be honest, this is just out of curiosity. Why don't we show an unlock before the 321?
Oh no, because that 3 that. Oh, I don't know.
Sometimes just things happen, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. You can't.
Okay, we could take that one down.
Should have made a bigger deal out of that. What do you mean you don't know? Aren't you the expert? Aren't you on the stand telling me what you know and what you don't know? I mean, he could be a
Now,
meanie pants about that one.
going back to the web searches, okay, just briefly. This was all after, to your knowledge, I imagine you're aware that this was all after, all these searches were done after Ms. Richins knew she was under investigation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I imagine at that point, and if not, you've probably been made aware of it now, and we've all seen during that January to March timeframe that you mentioned that there was a massive deletions in her phone, correct? You remember that?
Yes.
As well as Ms. Lauber's phone?
Yes.
You know that they were purchasing oxys, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation.
Are you aware of what Ms. Richins was doing during that time, either then or now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're a former law enforcement officer.
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever deal in narcotics?
No.
Okay. You're aware of them?
I am.
Okay. You're aware of purchases?
I am.
You're aware of the criminal mind, perhaps?
I am.
And you're aware that most individuals dealing in drugs might want to delete their information?
Yes.
And like you said, context matters, right?
Context does matter.
Are you saying that Kouri Richins is a drug dealer? Is that, and that's why she deleted her messages? I mean, we know she's buying them. Did she buy any prior to this? Just curious. From anybody else?
Bear with me. Are you familiar with Bayesian inferences?
No.
Okay.
Mm.
Or probability statements?
No.
Those are the statistical analysis thingies
Yeah,
that you did in
just
high
wanna
school,
make sure.
high school and college. Cat.
Oh, can we pull up the call record for Ms. Richins? I think it was the 101, 110 minute one, please.
Is this the IRS one?
Do you remember this?
Please explain
yes,
the
but
IRS
To be
one.
honest, I don't know why you were asked the questions. But this was in March. Could you zoom that in?
Sorry,
Yeah.
those-
No, yeah, I know.
those things are-
Zoom it in when you find it, please. Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. You remember what we're discussing, right?
I think I do, yes.
If you can find the date, that'd be great. I believe it was March 4th or 8th.
Your Honor, this exhibit on the screen is not marked.
It's February.
It says February 11th. It's 3-6, whatever.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Around March 1st?
Is it March 2nd?
So let's be clear, for the record, the jury can't see what you and Whitney.
No, we understand. I want to make sure that Katie finds it first, and then
Well, let me know when you're ready.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, if we could publish it, and you can see the 101 minutes.
Mhm.
Now, the date is March 2nd, correct?
Correct.
And you indicated that you reached out and you found out that that was the IRS.
Yeah, I Google searched the number.
Okay.
I know the number.
Yeah. I was gonna.
It ends in 1040. I mean, it's
Well, and it's a month before tax season.
yeah.
Correct. So context-wise,
Okay.
not unusual, right?
Not unusual.
Yeah. We could take that down.
Thanks for answering that question.
I do want to make sure did you come on in May 2020? When were you brought on?
I was retained in May of 2023.
May of 2023.
Yes, sir.
Now, you indicated that Verizon holds locations only for 12 months.
Correct.
Now, Ms. Richins' phone was seized on April 12th, correct?
I
I'm
think
sorry, April 2022.
Yeah, April 13th, I think. Yeah, of 2022.
Of 2022. Correct. Now, so by the time you had come on, that information was no longer available.
The records were still available, but records with location data were not.
Correct.
Tower data.
Correct. Yes. Okay. And to your knowledge, that's
Okay,
never been
so-
obtained, correct?
Correct.
We went through a lot
That's
of
what I
those,
said.
PowerPoints.
What was the location data, for example, like in Brendan Banfield's case, when they were like who was home when? So there's no location data on her phone. Wah wah wah.
Where Ms. Lauber was, and the communication she had, I think, with Kouri on the right-hand side, and then kind of following.
Yes.
I think you made it clear. The Those aren't their actual GPS locations, correct?
Correct.
Okay, those are cell towers.
Those are the tower locations, yes.
Right. So every time that the jury sees that little image going with Mr. Crozier,
Right.
those are all cell towers.
Right. You're seeing the tower that that device is communicating with
Correct.
at that time.
And so there was a time during your direct that you indicated that I think it was Miss Lauber was near the Richins home.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
To be clear, it's not that she was there.
Her device was.
Her device was connected to a cell tower.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with all this information that you have, the call details records, the cell tower information, the Carmen's phone, right? All of that, were you ever able to see, or were you asked whether she went to 75 East, 100 North in Midway?
I believe I was asked to look at that.
Okay. And did you find anything?
It's the data is not that specific.
Okay.
It's not GPS location. It's tower location.
Right. Right. Okay, we'll talk about those.
Right. When we talk about tower locations and stuff, let's bring up another case. So let's talk about the Brian Koberger case, right? Obviously they had overwhelming evidence of his car traveling from Pullman, Washington over to Moscow, Idaho. And but also his phone was turned off in Pullman and it turned back on when he was in Idaho. So Moscow is a very small town. I don't know how many cell phone towers there are. And then also south of Moscow where he was, I think there's only one cell phone tower where it pinged off of. So the more likelihood than not that you're in that location is greater than if you're in a more populated area where you have several different cell phone towers, and sometimes it's hard to distinguish where exactly you are in location to that cell phone tower. It could give you an approximation, but like you said, it cannot pinpoint that says, oh, you're at this house at this time. Again, it also talks about like John O'Keefe's phone is that he was in the proximal distance of the house at 34 Fairview. They can't say if he's in the house, but they can say he is either outside the house or inside the house. He is in that area. They can't place him inside the house. So he can't say whether or not Carmen Lauber had gone to the Midway to exchange the drugs.
Okay, I think I'm almost done. I think I am done. Oh, two things. Biometric data.
Okay.
Let's go back to the activity sensor data. Did you go into anywhere in the extraction to locate the height Miss Richins put in her phone?
I don't recall seeing that.
The whether her weight,
I don't recall seeing that either.
the stride.
Again, I don't recall seeing that.
Did
either.
you do that or recall seeing that in Mr. Richins?
No.
Okay. These SMS previews that we have been discussing,
Yes.
are you aware of the different settings that one can do on their phone to either show a preview or not show a preview?
No,
You're not familiar with those?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you have an iPhone?
I don't.
Okay. We disagree on a lot of things then. Fair. So you wouldn't have done anything there to check, or did you do anything to check her settings?
I did not.
Okay. So you don't know if on her settings in her iPhone there was an automatic play previews.
No.
Okay.
I don't know what play preview is either.
1 second. I have the left listed.
What's a play preview? I'm not sure what that is.
Verification. And I want to make because as I was talking about the web, okay, for clarification purposes, okay, because as I was talking about the web searches, I did not specify, and I want to make sure we get it clear. Those came from the blue phone.
Correct.
So those were after the April 13th, April 12th, when the white phone was seized, correct?
Correct.
After Ms. Richins obviously had been under investigation.
Correct.
Correct. After her, I'm not sure if you're aware, after her home was searched.
I don't know anything
I
about
don't know
that.
that. Okay, but it was on the blue phone.
Yes.
None of these web searches were on the other phones, correct?
Correct.
That's all I have. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks.
Ms. Sherbanek, within the scope of cross.
Sorry.
Look at all of his Post-its. You know who's making money on this trial? 3M and their Post-its, or Scotch, or whomever makes it. Look at all those Post-its. They're the ones that are making money out of this trial. The heroes. Post-it. She's got Post-its on hers too.
We talked a little bit about CDR data and Wi-Fi, maybe why things wouldn't show up on Wi-Fi.
Sure.
What type of messaging can happen over Wi-Fi?
Most app messaging happens over Wi-Fi. So third-party apps like WhatsApp, Kik, Signal, those types of apps. But also, again, iMessage.
And so when talking about those 3 image files located on Ms. Richins' phone from March 4th, 2022 at 8:29 a.m., we don't know all of the information about those because it was deleted.
Correct.
If it hadn't been deleted, we'd know more.
We might.
Talking about the web searches on the blue phone, when you looked through and analyzed that blue phone, nothing indicated to you that that blue phone was being used by someone else.
Correct.
I want to talk about Exhibit 3-14D. And this is the device. Scott, if we could put that one up.
One moment, please.
Again. Okay, she just hit on a great point, right? No one else was using that blue phone, but it fell flat because she just was like, and so no one else was using it. Like, you have to emphasize things, right? You got to punch it.
I
don't know how else to say it.
Please.
Okay. Go ahead.
Now, you made this exhibit in conjunction with the context of what was happening during this time frame. Is that correct?
Correct.
Meaning that you looked at messages between Kouri Richins and Eric Richins during this time frame.
Yes.
And in those messages, Kouri Richins was telling Eric Richins to go take a nap.
Yes.
And based on what you've created with this exhibit, does this movement in context indicate to you that during this time frame, Mr. Richins could have been laying down or
Yes.
not moving?
Yes.
I want to talk about this activity sensor data. That data is
Could it? Oh, maybe it's in reference to his Apple Watch. Okay, because I was like, what if you just put your phone down, right? You have your phone and you just put your phone down and you don't touch your phone for an hour, right? Does that mean you're taking a nap? Not necessarily, but I think he had an iWatch or his Apple Watch, and I think that's where they're getting that context from. Okay.
proprietary to Apple.
Yes.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but Apple probably puts a lot of money into making that data.
I'm sure they do.
They want it to be correct for
Yes.
their users,
Yes.
and they would want it to be accurate for their users
Yes.
because their users want that activity data to reflect what they're actually doing.
Yes.
Okay, but hang on. Hang on. You're not analyzing it from Apple's perspective. You have a second or the third party, right? You have a third party who's coming in and looking at it. No. I don't buy that.
Have you looked at activity data in other phone downloads that you've analyzed?
Yes.
And looking at phone activity data for other hundreds, maybe thousands of phones that you've analyzed, have you been able to tell if that data can be checked in other cases? Meaning that if somebody said, hey, I went for a 1 mile walk today, giving you a hypothetical, and then you could look at their phone and say that they went for a 1 mile walk. Have you been able to look at that type of data in other phones and verify that it reports in the way you would expect?
Are you asking about corroborating witness statements based on their activity in their devices?
Right.
Yes.
That activity data in other cases when you've analyzed it has been accurate and corroborated by other information?
In my experience, yes.
Just a moment.
Okay, but you didn't do that in this
That's
case.
all I got for you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ramos, within the scope of redirect?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Judge.
I, along with a lot of other people, like want to see things with my own eyes. I want to, like, for example, Carmen Lauber, she said one thing, Robert Crozier said another thing. And I'm like, show me the receipts, show me the text messages, show me the data off of the phone that you're traveling and they're traveling and they meet up, right? And once they did, I was like, that's verified to me. Great. I got that. Perfect. I align with what she said. I don't know why they're fighting over this information. I guess they're just trying to say, hey, she woke up and she didn't do what she said she was going to do. Is she a big fat liar? Probably. She lied about other things? Probably. Can you impeach her on lying about other things versus this? Yes. But I mean, I'm a science person. Go show me those steps. Maybe they will.
Indicated that,
Because they've done it before.
you indicated that Ms. Sherbanek was talking about the information that was deleted
Yes.
regarding those thumbnails, GIFs, correct?
Yes.
Certainly it would have been better for all of us.
It would have.
Does that file path and the information tell you who deleted it?
No.
And as you explained with the garbage collection, it could have been that way, correct?
It would have to be, it would have, if it wasn't deleted from the device, it would not have ended up there. There would be a remnant of it.
Right.
Yeah, it would be a data line.
Okay. Now, you were also asked about that you did not investigate or you don't have any reason to believe that anybody else had the blue iPhone. Do you recall that question?
Yes.
And you said that no.
Yes.
How do you come to that conclusion?
The big thing for me is there is a text in that phone from that device to Mr. Grossman in which the defendant indicates that.
So to be clear,
Yes.
I'm not saying that the phone wasn't Ms. Richins.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
My question is,
Okay. Well, I'm trying to answer it.
yeah, so I'll clarify my question to make sure I'm
Okay.
asking it
All
right.
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 Is your testimony that there was nobody else who had access to that phone at all?
I don't know that.
Okay, that's my question.
Right.
Now, you were asked about Apple software and proprietary software, and did you attempt to get information from anywhere else, whether it's Apple, whether it's another peer, whether it's another case, where you can get the information that you have in these extractions to validate it?
I kind of don't understand that
Sure,
question.
I'll rephrase.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand that you don't work for Apple,
No, I don't.
that you don't know how it works,
Uh,
that you sorry,
well,
that you don't know how the activity sensor data is logged, correct?
I don't know what their programming looks like.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you make any efforts in this case with this information to try to validate that the information you had was up to Apple standards?
No.
Right.
You indicated that you've been able to rely on other cases before. How many cases?
At least 100.
And so in those cases with activity sensor data, in those you did test?
Okay. So analyze data in phones, at least 100 phones. There have probably been, I apologize, there have probably been a dozen or so cases where I've had to corroborate like witness statements and suspect statements, that type of thing, against their phones. And I have not found any inaccuracies.
I misunderstood. You, in those cases, corroborated the data that you received, but you did not run tests to make sure that the data you had was accurate.
Not physical tests, no. Sir.
Correct. Okay. That's all I have, Judge. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question. You started to describe how you knew that no one else was using Kouri Richins' blue phone.
Yes.
There was a text message that indicated to you how you know that.
Yes.
How did that message indicate it to you?
Not word for word or verbatim.
Summarize the message.
The message summary was a text from the new number, the 9592 number, which is the blue phone number, to Josh Grossman's phone. And Ms. Richins indicated to Mr. Grossman in that text that she had activated one of, I believe it was her mom's phones, and she would be using that now. So, to that effect.
So she told him, "This is the phone I'm using to contact you now."
Yes.
That's all my question.
May we release this witness, counsel?
Subject to rebuttal if we need him.
Understood.
If we could not release him from the subpoena.
You are still subject to subpoena, so that means you can't, well, he's an expert, so the exclusionary rule does not apply to him, correct, Mr. Ramos? Okay. Maybe we'll see you in the future. You're free to go today. All right,
Thank you,
for your
sir.
time.
Thank you. I appreciate
All right. Okay. Now's a good time to recess for the day, Mr. Rubnek, yes?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
That deal's out.
Very well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to recess until 8:30 tomorrow morning. As always, please affirmatively avoid talking about or listening to anything about this case. Avoid any person that's trying to talk to you about the case. Please do not read, watch, or listen to any report about the case at all. No online or other research about the case. Please travel safely. Enjoy your evening. Please rise for the jury.
Okay. Remember, this was yesterday. This was yesterday's cross-examination of this witness. And we're just going to see if they put anything on the record.
Counsel, have a seat, please. Ms. Shermanek, Mr. Bloodworth, anything else on the record today?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewis, Ms. Nestor, Mr. Ramos?
Do you want to address the juror issue?
What I propose, and let me just say it out loud, and then you can tell me whether you have any objection to this, is to let all of you consider whether you want to have the court forward hire that witness regarding his prior interactions with Ms. Crosswhite tomorrow morning, and if so, we can do that. Or if you prefer not to do that, but give that some thought overnight. We can pick it up first thing in the morning. Any objection?
No, sir.
Mr. Bloodworth?
No objection.
Okay. We'll be in recess until.
All right. So there you have it. The cross-examination of Mr. Controdimos. There are some interesting things, right? Obviously, you can't tell who's using the devices. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City have entered the chat. He did not validate the steps himself. He just relies and says that this is accurate. The IRS phone calls are nothing burger because it's around tax time. They really spend a lot of time on those 3 memes. And they couldn't say exactly when those were sent. So, interesting. I don't know what weight that's going to give. So, for me, the memes are like a collective thing, right? A collective of everything. So, we'll wait until more of the evidence comes in from the state to see like what those memes are. I mean, they're damaging in and of themselves. But I don't know. I think there's so much more that one can pinpoint as far as evidence than the memes. So we'll see. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end this one here, and then we'll pick up on today's proceedings. So like and subscribe if you want to hear more. Thank you. Thanks for watching Legalese 123. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe for more content.